for tuning in. I'm Helen, I'm a Canon Ambassador and I'm a family photographer based in London in the UK. I specialise in black and white pictures of babies, children and families, all taken on location at my clients' homes or places they like to go to, such as the park or the woods. Because we're all spending so much time at home at the moment, we thought it'd be nice to share some tips with you about photographing your family indoors. Some ideas you can use to improve your photography and to document these extraordinary times. Often when we're photographing our families, our first instinct is to head outdoors. It's much easier to photograph the children when they're running around and playing games in the open space, where we've got lots of opportunities to move around and we've got loads of light to play with. It can seem quite daunting, the idea of taking pictures indoors, but actually this means we often leave a lot of opportunities untapped. Photographing in our homes can be absolutely wonderful. The kids spend so much time at home, so many of their real memories will be there, their bedrooms, the toys they play with, and it's nice to be able to document these things, these everyday things, as they'll be a really wonderful gift to give to your children. But how do we start? If we haven't photographed indoors, it can seem quite overwhelming. So what I recommend is that we start with light. It's always the key with photography. And the best way to do that with your home is to start to look at the light you have. Look at the natural light. All the pictures I'm going to be showing today are taken with natural window light. Some of them are taken in big houses with a lot of space, but others in really very small London flats. The principles remain the same, whatever your environment. And so I'm hoping that you'll see these ideas and realise how you can adapt them to your own situation. So when I first go into a house, I always look for the windows, look to see where the light is coming in and how it's falling. In your own home, you have the opportunity to see how the light changes over the course of the day. And it's quite an interesting little project to look at the way the light changes from different windows in different parts of your house. You might find that there's one window that lets in beautiful shafts of sunlight in the morning, or another where you get sort of shadows on the floor in the afternoon light. You can document these with your camera, take pictures of the shadows. It's a great little exercise and it starts to make you look more deeply, think a bit more about the light, and the more you start to notice it, the more that will improve your photography, both when you're photographing your family indoors, but also, when you're out and about and doing other genres. So once we've sort of had a look at the window light, then we can start to think, what kind of pictures are we going to take? And when I'm photographing families indoors, one of the first places I'll start with is a sort of head and shoulders window lit portrait. These are a really nice thing to have, and if your children are in a cooperative mood, which we all know they aren't always, but if they are, they can be a really good way to start, and you can get some fantastic results very quickly. So what I would do in this situation is that I would stand or sit. Often I would sit because I like to be the same height as my subjects. But I would sit in front of the window with my back to the window and then have the child sort of facing towards me and so facing towards the window light. It's important you don't have direct sunlight coming in through the window because obviously that would be very harsh on your child's eyes and they would squint a lot. But if you've got sort of soft light, this can work really well. And then I'll chat to the kids, talk to them. What are they interested in? What are they reading? What have they watched on TV? Even what do they want for lunch? Just anything to have a conversation going, because it doesn't matter what you're talking about. You could be discussing dinosaurs, quantum physics, Peppa Pig. It really doesn't matter as long as you've got the kids engaging, as long as they're interested in what you have to say, and then they forget to do those terrible cheesy grins, and instead you get really beautiful, inquisitive, natural expressions. So with this picture here, I'm photographing a baby. She's looking up towards the window. And if we actually look closer, we can look at her eyes and we can see the reflection. So you can see how the light is. We can see the window there and you can see my shadow and also her mum, who's amazing, holding up her hand, attracting the baby's attention. And this can be really good. If you're photographing little ones, having an extra pair of hands to attract attention is fantastic, because otherwise the little one's like, I could look at you for a second, but actually my toes are really exciting, and you suddenly find that they're just nibbling on their feet. So having an extra pair of hands can be really helpful. So that's a picture where we've got the light behind us. We're photographing the child looking towards the window. But then We can change things up a bit. So this next picture, I've moved around. I've gone round the other side of the child and I'm photographing towards the window. Now it's the same baby, they haven't moved at all. They're sitting in one of those bumbo chairs, so they're completely stationary. But we can see how different the light is, how it changes the modelling and how we get this other very beautiful portrait. So that's two very different ways of photographing in exactly the same situation. I haven't even changed my settings. It's f2.8 at a 500th of a second at ISO 1000. Two very different results. But from this, we can then investigate further. We can change things up a bit. This next picture is obviously an older child, but it's a similar concept. Again, I'm photographing towards the window. Here I've used the curtains as a frame with the window, and then we've got the little girl playing her flute. I've dialed my exposure down so I get this silhouette, and I love the way that the sort of light falls across the music and across her fingers on the keys. It's a very sort of magical, mystical, mysterious picture, and I really, really love it. So try these different things. Try facing towards the window, try shooting with your back to the window. Try these different approaches and see what different effects it has in your pictures. You can experiment with your exposure. You can try overexposing pictures if you're facing towards the window, which will bring up the skin tones, or you can dial it right down and get a silhouette. The more you play, the more you'll get to grips with how this all works, and it will really improve your photography. So once we've got our head around photographing using a single window, then we can start to get a bit more creative. We can try some different ideas. We can move on from a simple portrait. I like to take pictures that include people's homes. Obviously, it's lovely if you've got a plain wall to set your child up and take a kind of studio type portrait. A lovely clean portrait is a wonderful thing to have. But I love to include the things that make your house a home. I think we can all think back to our childhood and we'll remember the sofa that we used to sit on to watch TV, or bits of furniture, pictures on the wall, all those things that make our house a home. It's nice to include those in your pictures. Perhaps choose an ornament or something you've got on the wall and use that as a device within your composition. Perhaps use a reflection in a mirror or shoot through something to create a frame within a frame. Utilise the things in your house. It's a fantastic way to create more interesting images. Photographing the kids' bedrooms as well. Don't worry about the mess, but think about the things that they've got there. The posters on the walls, the toys that have pride of place. All these things will be so infused with memories that when they look back on them in the future, they'll be incredibly special. I like to photograph children playing with their favourite toys, doing their favourite hobbies. I love to see them engaged in activities, and obviously when you're photographing them, that's really good for you too, because they'll be distracted, they'll be sort of playing with their Lego, and that gives you the opportunity to move around, try different angles, try different approaches to your pictures. Photograph them doing their favourite hobbies. Wouldn't it be amazing if those were the things that they did as a career when they grew up? I have pictures my dad took of me playing with a camera when I'm sort of 5 and 6 years old, and they're amazing to have now. I love to look at this picture of this little girl practicing her gymnastics and think, you know, will she be a famous gymnast? I mean, she definitely wants to be a famous gymnast. But if she is, wouldn't it be amazing for her to look back on this picture from when she's 5 years old and just beginning to hone her skills? When you're taking pictures indoors, then fast lenses do make a difference. And by fast, I mean lenses which have the opportunity for a wide aperture, such as f1.8. This gives you a lot more flexibility than lenses where you can only get to f4 or f5.6, because light is limited indoors, particularly if we're just using window light. And kids, as we all know, they still move around really fast, whatever we're doing. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go out and spend a fortune. Canon actually make a fantastic lens, EF50mm 1.8 lens, the Nifty 50 as it's known in the trade. And this is a fantastic, inexpensive lens to start with. It gives you the flexibility of shooting at 1.8, so you can shoot indoors, and it's a great way to learn. It's also an amazing way to get your head around aperture if this is something that's quite new to you, because you can really see the difference. You can shoot at f1.8, you can shoot at f16, you can really see how those changes come through. It's a lens I recommend to all my friends, to all my clients, to anyone that wants to learn more about photography, as it's such a good way to start. So I hope that's been useful. I mean, the other really key thing to this is to have fun. Photograph your kids having fun, have fun yourself. Photography is an amazing hobby, and no matter what level our skill is, the resulting pictures will have such worth for your children when they grow up. It's an incredible gift that you're giving them. Have fun with it. You know, if the kids really aren't in the mood, then return to it another day. That's no problem. And never forget that a chocolate biscuit makes every photo shoot go so much better. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm at Helen Bartlett Photography on Instagram. Send me a question, anything, and I will obviously do my very best to answer you. You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing how your pictures turn out, the more you experiment and go forward on this photographic journey. So do keep in touch and we can go forward and learn more together. Thanks very much for tuning in. See you again.